I've been needing to find a new apartment, which has not been easy with credit as bad as mine. Luckily, I found cosigning.com. They connected me with a cosigner who helped me get my dream apartment for me and my dog. I just paid a small fee and was able to move in fast. Get the cosigner you need for the apartment you want. Check out cosigning.com today.
Trump, do not send the National Guard to Chicago, gang. Not, I repeat, do not do it. We are a different fucking breed out here, nigga. We are not Los Angeles, nigga. We are not Washington, D.C., nigga. This is Chicago, nigga. The niggas go fight back.
Well, he sent them. Your fucking move. Do something. We're here. We are here now. They're there.
Now, ICE is mobilizing 300 officers in downtown Chicago today. You can see Border Patrol agents in video patrolling along the Chicago River. So this move comes amid growing tension over Operation Midway Blitz, which the Trump administration claims is a crackdown to get dangerous criminals off the streets. News Nation's Mills Hayes is on the ground in downtown Chicago for us. So, Mills, what are you seeing? What's the very latest there?
If y'all thought threats from a bunch of illiterate, drug dealing, crack smoking dropouts who are not exhausted with seeing all the Black death around them. If you thought a few homemade threats from iPhone 13s were going to deter the tenacity of the American government, of our military, to take back our American cities by force, you were sadly mistaken. It wasn't even a bluff to call. You will fall in line. You will not be doing smash and grab robberies in downtown Chicago, and this will deter the drills. By drill means that's a slang word for when a group of Black kids get together and they hunt down other Black kids, specifically other Black kids, like game in Africa when they're hunting gazelles or lions. They literally hunt each other down with impunity, uninterrupted. And they've been doing this in Chicago for more than 10 years. I used to live in Chicago. I loved it, actually. I was actually living between Toronto and Chicago. And I mean, I used to hear stories about Chicago, but I lived in Greektown. It was really nice. But I remember one night I had so many of my friends killed outside of a club that I overslept and didn't go. And after that, I was done with Chicago. I'm so glad that somebody's even trying to save Black people from each other. Let's go ahead and let's just be honest. Let's be real. You think Trump's sending in the military to control the Latin population? No. Illegals are one small portion. Are they hyper violent? Not really. Are they committing crimes? Well, just being here illegally is a crime, yes. But are they rapists, kidnappers, traffickers? Yes. But the majority of the violent crime is with the Black community. So you think Trump is sending in the military to go after the Chaldeans? Or is Trump sending in the military because they're having trouble with the Asians? No. They need the military to deal with the Black problem in Chicago. Brandon Johnson is literally the Black problem. He's one portion of the Black problem. The rest is now we got to protect the Black community from itself, which is unfortunate. I live in a city right now. There's 50 clubs that are primarily that are white owned. There's one Black club. All the police are outside the Black club. Why? Because it's more fun just to beat up on Black people? Are they beating up on Black people? No. But out of 99 times out of 100, there's going to be a huge brawl where somebody dies or somebody is shot. It will be at the Black club between the Black people. They pretend to love each other, but literally try to kill each other every single day. So now Trump is being forced to bring the military in because it's a Black city. It's a very large Black population in Chicago. it's spilling out into other neighborhoods and it's affecting other people now. They've been able to get away with robbing and killing each other so long uninterrupted that they are starting to believe that it's legal to rob and kill people in Chicago. And if you're enforcing laws against murder and robbery, you're actually being racist because in their minds, those are legal to do. You can go around killing black people. It's okay if you're black and they're black. What's the big deal? They don't understand that that's against the law because the law over the years has been enforced less and less in Chicago. Less and less. So now we're returning law and order to the city, and it's a problem if you are against law and order. Now, for the past 2 to 3 years, I've been seeing black residents, many of them are older, who are aware of what's happening in their city. They have been begging for Trump to come, begging for him to bring the military, begging for someone to do something because Brandon Johnson won't do it. He wants the Black Death. He likes the murder. J.B. Prisker won't do it. There is a lot of money in allowing crime to continue because what you can do is go petition the government and say, hey, we need more police. We need more resources. Give us more money. What do they do when the money gets there? It disappears. The same way all that money for homelessness in LA disappeared. It vanishes. There's a lot of hustle in false problems that can be corrected. You want to pretend that homelessness is an issue, crime is an issue, immigration, and when the government, the federal government, they're not able to micromanage you. It's an umbrella, and you're under it. Really, the way the United States works is that we're 50 different countries just under a federal umbrella, and technically, your governor is your country's president. That's why when I did not like my president of Gavin Newsom anymore, I evacuated Los Angeles. And I moved to where I do like the governor, which was Greg Abbott. So I moved to Texas. A lot of people don't understand that you have different options depending on what your beliefs are. But if the United States doesn't work for you, consider it mercy that we're sending you back to your home country where you're happy, where you can flourish. Because in the United States, you wanted to be a criminal and you didn't appreciate the privilege of being here, not even enough to learn a language and go through the process of gaining your citizenship while you had a 20-year free pass. You think I don't have relatives that were deported? We're Latinos. Some of us wanted to assimilate, some of us didn't. And the ones who do not want to assimilate, they don't want to be Americans. Why are you in America? Go back home. Be where your heart is. Right now, enforcing immigration laws is doing these people a favor. They don't really want to be here. They want to be here to extract resources to send them back home. Do they want to be Americans? No. Do they embrace American culture? No. They don't even want to learn the language because they don't have any respect for the country, for the privilege. I cannot believe people were actually getting online thinking that you could threaten the military or our president into not coming to take our city back. Now, people are going to say, well, Rico, they're in downtown Chicago. Yes. What that's going to do is that's going to mean that local law enforcement is not going to have so many of their personnel in downtown. So guess what? Their personnel can be in other areas that are lacking police presence. You know, it's very hard right now to even get people to become police. There's a hiring shortage because of all the propaganda from BLM and these communities. And what they're trying to do is, in a way, use reverse psychology for you to make your cities unsafe so that they can take over, so that the criminals can run the prison. We're reversing that. And if we have to go state by state, we will.
Hi, Kelly. Well, Border Patrol agents are making their presence known in their Marine units along the Chicago River, as well as walking in groups of 20 to 50 agents down Michigan Avenue. We saw Border Patrol Chief Gregory Bovino out there as well, leading the pack. And as this was happening, lots of tourists and residents were taking pictures and
confused, trying to figure out why there were so many federal officers on the ground. And of course, Chief Bovino there as well. And we asked him about what they were doing in downtown Chicago. And he told me they're walking downtown to keep the community safe. And we asked him about how long Operation Midway Blitz will last. And he says it's going to last as long as it takes to accomplish the mission.
It's a shame that you have to leave military forces in Chicago just to stop black people from killing other black people, and some of the black people will literally protest because they don't want you to stop them from being killed by each other. That you would think that would be insane, right? You would think you would call that person a coon, that person a sellout, that person a white supremacist, right? But wrong. These are the actual people that they are championing as leaders. What kind of leader is that? A leader that wants to remove any speed bumps that would slow down people coming to kill you. I would call that a failed leader, a bad leader. You're going to have to change who you listen to. You're going to have to change who you follow. Now, you can follow somebody like me if you want to live. But you can follow someone like Brandon Johnson, pretend you're a victim, scream about racism and oppression in an all-black city, and you'll end up dead like the rest of them. You know, it's crazy. I had just seen this right here on Instagram, and I thought it was is the word irony? Is it ironic? This is what I saw.
Focusing on the white youth, that perhaps he would still be with us today. Where I was like, hey, if Charlie Kirk had not spent his time so much, talking about black culture and, gun violence, and spent some of that, a modicum of his time in the white youth, perhaps he would be here today. Yeah. Silence. Nobody said anything.
Well, there's nothing to say. You, as a black person, are in no position to give anybody any advice about survival. You can't even keep your own children alive. They're not even making it to the age of 20. Many of them are not making it to 18. You cannot give anybody any advice on how to stay alive when every single night all over the country, it is your men, your young men, your children that are being dropped in the streets like rabid animals. It takes a lot of nerve to not have enough wherewithal or self-awareness to see this before you say it. But what that means is that this man is not speaking from a logical point of view. He's speaking from an emotional one. And he thinks he has a catchy slogan that will get him some attention, but it backfires because it's once you dig a little bit beneath the surface, it doesn't make any sense. You can't even keep your own community's children alive. So it's kind of like the saying, you're going to have to put out the fire. You got to stop your own house from burning before you can take a water hose and put out someone else's fire. You haven't even controlled the fire in your own house. So you're not really in a position to give out any advice because, well, how the fuck would you know? If you knew better, you would do better. If you knew better, this young man would be alive. Now, he was killed on September the 26th, a couple days ago. He's not the only one. I found 17 of these pictures on Facebook. And guess what? Because the person who killed him wasn't white, nobody cared. But guess what? Rico cares. Conservatives care. Trump supporters care. You look around, it's always us conservatives that are trying to preserve the lives of you Democrats. We're always trying to tell you, hey, maybe you shouldn't slaughter your kids in the womb. Hey, maybe you shouldn't let repeat offenders out on the streets that are going to go back and kill more people. Hey, maybe you shouldn't, chop off your wiener and self-mutilate. Or even better, maybe you shouldn't do that to your kids who are too young to make informed decisions that are going to affect them for the rest of their lives. It's a lot of heavy lifting. The reason we do it is not necessarily because we like you as an individual. It's just that we understand that if you destroy society in your area, eventually the ripple effects will affect us. So what we're trying to do is mitigate that by speaking to you and trying to curb you from hurting yourself. Because it's just like that meme where the guy puts a stick in his bike tire, crashes, and then he stands up and says, "Damn white people." It's literally, it's always us trying to help you. And we're doing it now. The ripple effects are affecting all of us in these communities, and we want better. We're tired of it. The real definition of fatigue, 100%.
It's been a smorgasbord of activities. A lot of folks, I'd say the majority, are actually glad we're here. They are congratulating us, saying it's about time you're here. Especially those inner city residents here in Chicago are very glad we're here because oftentimes they're up against that vast illegal migration that took place over the past 4 years. They're the ones dealing with the violence perpetrated by illegal aliens, trained de Aragua, violent gang members that are here in Chicago.
Be more specific. GDs, Vice Lords, Latin Kings, BPS. Just call them by name. They like the notoriety. You know, and what I'm telling you is this. The military is going to be there for however long into the future. We're not saying that this is going to stop your son from being killed by another black person. What we're basically saying is that this is just going to delay it. So you should still be grateful. Instead of your son being killed tomorrow, your son will probably be killed in like 6 months. Enjoy every single day you can with him before it happens. Because guess what? He's not going to change his life. He's not going to start becoming a conservative. He's not going to want to be more. And he's not going to say, well, maybe I am not a victim. Maybe I never was a slave. Maybe I've been my whole life. I remember going to school. I went to elementary, junior high. I don't remember a break in there where I was enslaved in bondage, unless I was in prison. Maybe they'll one day figure out they were never actually slaves themselves. And that what happened with people hundreds of years ago, allegedly, which we don't even see, there's actually a lot of proof that even happened, that it affects you today. You know, I don't think anybody is putting a shiesty mask on, grabbing guns to go do a drill, and en route to where your son lives to kill him. They're listening to old Negro spirituals about being by the water. I'm pretty sure they're not considering slavery or the movie Roots or Kizzy Kente and Kunta. I'm sure they're not thinking about that when they're in their route to do a drill. So why bring it up after the drill or before? Why? They're not thinking about that. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It only is a point that you bring up when you want to enable the behavior. Again, guys who I loved were multiple of them killed one night. We were all just in LA. I did a music video with them, rented a mansion, had these huge parties. It was a great week. They were in LA. We all go back to Chicago. I had a jet lag. I oversleep. 9 o'clock, I doze off. By 2 a.m. when I wake up, they're gone. You want to know what kind of monsters we're dealing with in cities like Chicago? The guy, it was two guys, but one of them that killed my friends literally went to the guy's social media because he was really popular on social media. Instagram was just getting really big. And he went into the thread underneath my friend's most recent picture before he passed. Actually, it was a video of him at the club. And he started like responding to all of my friend, one of the friends of mine that got killed. He started responding to all of his relatives and trolling them about how he killed them and how he looked at them and his blood, just trolling them and laughing at these people who are grieving. It turns out he was jealous of him over some girl. And he killed him and his other two best friends. Monsters are real. And I'll be honest, for what we're dealing with in cities like Chicago's, monster is an understatement. To some, it might even be a compliment. The crazy part is, if you look like me, you're not supposed to talk about it. Well, I'm talking. So, again, it has to stop. Something has to change. I tell people things have been put in place to stop some of the damage. Did you really think they were going to just let you destroy everything that their ancestors built for hundreds of years? You really thought they were going to let a bunch of black people with racial insecurity issues about how they look and a bunch of gay people build an army that would literally crumble our republic? You really thought that was actually going to happen? We are armed. We have a Second Amendment in our Did you really think you'd be able to shame these people? You shamed a lot of them. Do you really think you're going to shame the rest of them into just laying down their guns and just letting you do with them as you will? Like those silly white people that were bowing down and kissing the feet of George Floyd. Did you really think that was going to be all of them? Oh, the delusions of grandeur. I remember back in 2021, and I was like, you guys know why these mandates exist, right? There's a problem in the country with certain people. They got to get out the way. And it's illegal to do it other ways. So, and don't forget, we all share the same internet. But nobody had the balls to do what it would take to try to address this issue. And a handful of people that I said were demons did something. Klaus Schwab, Bill Gates, Fauci, Kamala Harris, Joe Biden. If my theory is correct, they did what they could to make America great again. When I'm doing the math and I'm doing the numbers and I'm keeping score, I'm guesstimating by 2029, 2030, a lot of these issues in these neighborhoods will be a thing of the past. If the numbers continue the way they are now, I don't think you're going to have an issue with 13% of the population being able to commit 55% of the murders. Oh, but Rico, 60% of those people arrested for murders are exonerated. Well, there is something called the no snitching culture. So if you're arrested for something and nobody's going to snitch, then you're not going to be able to convict them. So that doesn't mean he did it. That just means that he's scared enough people into not showing up, because in certain communities, being labeled a snitch is worse than being labeled a pedophile. This was not going to last forever. You thought they were going to deal with another 50, 100, or 20 years of this bullshit every day? No, it wasn't going to go on forever. This is all temporary. And I'll be honest, if my numbers are correct, then this problem was solved years ago. It just hasn't kicked in yet.
But we spoke with tourists who captured this picture of a family being detained by Border Patrol agents near Millennium Park. They tell me that the baby was crying and that they heard about all the violence in Chicago, but have not felt unsafe until they saw federal officers walking around with guns. And they are not the only one to feel that way.
That was pretty alarming, just to see a group of masked guys walking around with a.
Are you fucking kidding me? 3 miles away, there are masked black kids with machine guns right now. They are literally driving around Chicago. The only reason they're not in downtown today is because Trump has sent in the military. These people are insane. They have ostrich syndrome. They bury their head in the sand, except when they pop up, they virtue signal because they're scared. They're scared to be honest with themselves. They're scared to be honest with their family. And it's detrimental to society. He's not helping.
ARs, silenced ARs. It's pretty intimidating, especially for people here.
If you are a federal agent, why are you hiding behind a mask instead of hiding behind a badge?
Well, we have both. For one thing, there's people like you that will get on the internet and dox where you live. So now I have to worry about my children or my wife being harassed by people who are sympathetic to criminals. That just creates that's a layer of intimidation. It's kind of like why we have laws for why protesters can't sit in front of the house of a judge, because it could affect a judge's ruling. A judge might rule out of fear and ignore justice, or skate or ignore accountability because they're worried about what's going to happen to them. We have laws for that. These agents are being harassed for doing their job. When you don't care about the bottom line of a city's safety, you're going to want to do things like discourage police and discourage law enforcement from enforcing laws. Laws must be applied to everyone equally in this country. Jasmine Bentley, a Chicago resident. You don't have to be a Chicago resident. There are planes that leave every hour. You can relocate to a new home. If you are going to remain in the United States and you want this to be your home, you will follow the rules, or you will die trying to stop them. I suggest you relocate. That seems like a better idea than to fight against law enforcement. We are a nation of laws. You will follow them. There are places for people who don't want to follow laws. We call them boxes. It could be a box that's made out of metal, or it could be a box made out of pine. But you do have a choice, Miss Bentley.
You might as well go ahead and just anybody can dress up as an ICE agent and be like, well, I'm here to detain you for no reason. The next thing you know, people are going missing.
Right before we spoke with Chief Bovino, we did hear a woman pass by.
Yeah, people are going missing because you have illegal aliens over here kidnapping women and disappearing them. Genius. You don't have to worry about getting kidnapped. The lunch bill would be too high. But other people do have to worry about it.
Agents and tell them thank you. Now, Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson putting out a statement saying he's aware that federal agents are in downtown, and he says that this is unnecessary and that this move by the Trump administration doesn't make the city any safer. Kelly?
They don't want you to know about it.
Brandon Johnson, how do you know what would make the city safer?
Keep being lazy about cleaning Europe.
You've never done it. You've never done anything to make the city safer. So how can you say what will or will not work? Brandon Johnson, if you have all the answers, why haven't you implemented them yet? And why isn't the city safer now? You obviously don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Just like the other guy that was trying to give Charlie, telling people, well, Charlie Kirk could still be alive. Well, how would you know? You can't even save yourself. You can't even save your own people. Why don't you lead by example? Why don't you show us your results? Let's see, because you're the guy in charge. You're the mayor, right? Show us your results on when it comes to crime and dropping the violence in the city. Oh, you don't have them. So how can you say what doesn't work when you don't even know what does work? This is why we can't take certain people serious. They're not serious people. They do what they're told. They do what they're ordered to do. And they literally just manipulate and scam their constituents. They don't like people that speak truth, because truth can make you look at yourself in the mirror and want to change your behavior, and everybody's not willing to change. A very small group of people benefit the most from all the crime and chaos. You don't benefit from it. You're actually a victim of it. But a very few small group of people do. Do you really want to help them that much, that bad? You really, that's your priority? You got to get your priorities together. We are here in Chicago. Law enforcement can now not spread their resources so thin. We are not going to see black kids with masks on going through the city shooting. They are not going to be attacking these agents. They're not suicidal. All those empty threats about Chicago, don't do, man, we're here now. Now what? Your move. You want to go to war with the federal government? Try it. Try us. Try us. We're waiting. But until then, put the guns down, take the mask off, go find a fucking job, do something constructive. Because whatever you were doing before, it's not going to last too long. These federal agents, and then guess what? If it does get a little sticky, we will send more and more and more. It's not like we're going to just give up. This is our country. This is one of our great American cities. You didn't build it, so we're not going to let you take it down and tear it down and destroy it. Like and subscribe, share the video if you agree or you have any counter thoughts. Love to hear them. Just make sure they make sense, because I will rebut you and I will go back and forth. I appreciate a healthy dialogue. I think Charlie Kirk was doing a great job when he was doing that. I definitely will debate with anyone the merits of my conversation. You know, these are my views. I'm reading the news to you and I'm giving my opinion. So if you have a counter opinion and you make a better point than me, but then again, it just depends on what your goals are. My goal is to help people live longer. I'm telling you, hey, if you want to live longer, stay away from certain people. If you want to live longer, stay away from certain activities. That's my whole take on it. You can live a lot longer if you stay away from certain people. But what does that say about those people? Well, you need to talk to those people and see if they want to save themselves from themselves. And what are they willing to do? Now, many of them, once they gain success, they move away from their own people. That's a smart thing to do. The problem is your children they grow up to be wannabes. And you move over here, but the kids go back over there and want to be like the other kids. That's something engraved into their psyche. That's unfortunate. You know, so that's something that you're going to have to work on. And I'm not sure what the cure to that is. You know, a bunch of wannabes growing up in good neighborhoods, but they want to pretend that they're from the gutter. But think about it. There's black people that have never even been to the South, that are in California, which was never a slave state, literally trying to convince me that they were slaves. And I'm like, well, what year? Because you were born in 88. What year were you a slave? Because I'm looking through your Facebook history. I've known you for years. So that type of cognizant dissidence is going to be hard to counter. That's why these mental institutions have to be reopened, mass therapy, and people need to talk to these people. They have a lot of issues. But no matter what their excuse is, all these issues end up to them just killing each other, killing themselves. And if that's the goal, then again, that plays into what my theory is, that a lot of these problems will solve themselves by 2029 and 2030. If we can save some of those people from themselves, so be it. But if we can't, at least we tried. Hopefully these videos will resonate and maybe they'll help somebody. I'll be back on with another topic in about 10 minutes. I'm going to go ahead and have some lunch, and I'll see you guys shortly with another subject. I appreciate you tuning in. Like, comment, leave like the video. That's all I ask you to do. I don't really need any money from you. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, The Single Boyfriend, or Right Wing Rico. Thank you, and I'll see you shortly.
I've been needing to find a new apartment, which has not been easy with credit as bad as mine. Luckily, I found cosigning.com. They connected me with a cosigner who helped me get my dream apartment for me and my dog. I just paid a small fee and was able to move in fast. Get the cosigner you need for the apartment you want. Check out cosigning.com today.